Hey everyone, and welcome to another tutorial by Ashley from Enchant Me Not. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to install Fanupdate onto your website. Before I continue, there are a couple of things I need to explain to you about Fanupdate, and I can do this over at their website, which is fanupdate.co.uk. So if you'll notice on their website, they've got two different download links. There's Fanupdate 3 and Fanupdate 2.2.1. I'm not really sure why they have both these versions available for download. However, both of these do have their own problems, which are easy fixes. With Fanupdate 2.2.1, there was a huge security issue that was discovered. It's an easy fix, and if you're downloading Fanupdate from the official Fanupdate website, you'll need to do this fix yourself. However, you can also use the download link that I've provided where I've fixed the issue for you. I've hosted this on my own server, so it should be here for as long as my website is up. With Fanupdate 3, I'm not sure why, I haven't really figured it out yet, but if you keep the installation files and folders in the same directory as when you install it, there's a strange error where you can't access any of the files, and you get a 403, I believe, permission denied error page. If you're adventurous and slightly crazy, you would eventually arrive to this solution. However, it's strange. There's no other way to describe it. So when it comes to installing the two of these, the steps are pretty much the same thing, except for the last step in Fanupdate 3. I'm going to use Fanupdate 3 to show you how to install everything, just so I can show you that final step. So in order to install CMSs or scripts in general, I prefer using the cPanel and the file manager, especially through the cPanel. I realize not everyone has access to this, and a lot of people can only use an FTP program. And so I'll make comments on how to use an FTP program and make a comparison as to why I prefer using the file manager in cPanel over using an FTP. So the very basic reason that I prefer file manager is because it lets you extract files, and it's a lot more faster than having to do it using an FTP. And you'll see what I mean as we go through the tutorial. So download the files, which I've already done, either from their website or from the links that I'll provide, and then log into your cPanel if that's the method you're going to use. If you're not logging into the cPanel, you'll need to extract the folders using unzip or double-clicking if you're on a Mac. So you get to your cPanel and you log in. If you're using FTP, obviously log into your FTP program, and when the login occurs, then you can go down to File Manager. It's being slow today, which is odd. Then you can just click on the File Manager, which you can find under the Files tab, and this will open up a new window or a new tab in your current window. And here you can directly choose to install the new folder. You can directly install, Here you can choose to directly upload the folder. So I just created this directory. I don't have any files or anything in it. So I'm just going to click on the upload option here. You're welcome to put this, to put Fanupdate under a subdirectory, anywhere you really want to, and it'll work the same. So using cPanel and File Manager, I'm just going to click on Choose File and find the downloaded folder in my huge list of downloads. And over here you'll see a little status manager. If you're using FTP at this point, you'd need to copy across each of the individual files over to wherever you want it on your server. And that can actually be a pretty tedious task if you have to do it individually, especially if you forget some of the files, which can lead to huge problems later on when you're trying to actually use Fanupdate. So I just clicked on the Go Back button, and as you can see, there's a CGI bin, and there's also the Fanupdate 3 zip folder that I had earlier. So now I can just click on Extract, and it's going to extract my files for me I left it in the root directory, but you can always change it to another directory if you want. And if you are interested in extraction results, you can read those. As you can see, there's this Mac OS X folder, which you really don't need. So I'm just going to delete that. There's also the Fanupdate folder with all the files I need, and the original Fanupdate 3 zip folder. I usually keep this in, or I don't delete it straight away at least. In case I have an error when I'm trying to install the file, then I'll just delete the folder and start again. Not that this happens too often. So now you can just click into your Fanupdate folder by double-clicking on it, and you'll see all the Fanupdate files. Isn't this a lot easier and faster than using FTP? The next step is to right-click on the blog config and choose the code edit. You might get a little panel or something asking you about encryption, just hit OK. If you're using FTP, then you'll need to open up the blog-config.php file using Notepad or text editor or Dreamweaver, whatever editing software you're using. Now over here, we need to edit the admin variables and the database variables. So the admin variables are easy enough to do. I'm just going to change this to my name, and I'm going to change pass to password. Please don't keep yours as password because it is a ridiculous password to actually use. And then for the database variables, you actually need to go and create a database. So to do this, you need to go back to your cPanel. If you don't have a cPanel, you might need to ask your host for your password or access to a database. And then just in your cPanel, you can just go to the MySQL databases. This part's a little slow. I think my internet's having a couple of issues right now, but whatever. So when using a database for pretty much anything really, there are 3 steps involved. You need to create a new database. You need to create or at least make sure there's a user that can access the database and has the rights to access that database. This is important because if you give users rights to a database that they shouldn't have access to, and they could always mess around with your database later on in the future. And the 3rd step is connecting the user to the database. This is taking really long. Okay, here we go. So the first step, as I said, was creating a new database. I'm just going to name mine Fanupdate. And then you hit on Create Database, and it'll start creating the database. It takes a couple of seconds. If your system or you have a differently set up cPanel, or your host provides their own control panel type thing, then look up tutorials. The steps for this are essentially the same. And if you do need help, you're more than welcome to ask me. We can just click on the Go Back option, and as you can see, the database has been added here. Now you need to create a user. For the user, you don't have to use the same name as the database. I just find that it's easier, usually. And I'm just going to click on the password generator for now. I have a strange habit of always clicking the generate password 7 times because I'm weird. And I actually recommend that you don't use a generated password and that you use a password that you'll actually remember, because this is something that you're going to be using down the line if you ever have to make changes to your Fanupdate later on. It's not the easiest thing to change or get access to your database again. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, need to wait for this to do its check. Then I can create, cannot be longer than 7 characters. Huh. Why are you? Okay, I'm just going to change this to fan. And as you can see, it's going to create the MySQL user. You can save the password if you want. You're not going to use it too often to need it. And then the last step is to just come and connect your user to your database. As you can see, there are 2 different names. And then just hit add at the bottom. And you need to make sure you check the all privileges, because you're going to be, or at least the program is going to be making a lot of changes to the database as you use Fanupdate. And that's it, your database has been created. So now you go back to your blog-config file, whether you're in cPanel or on your desktop, and you change the username to whatever yours was called. Mine is projects fan. My password was that ridiculous thing. And the database name was projects_fanupdate. And once you're done, just save the changes. If you're using FTP, you need to re-upload this file, which is a reason I don't want to do that. It's an extra step. Essentially, if you're using Fanupdate 2.2.1, you're done at this point. You can actually just go to your website, so you'd go to your URL and fanupdate/install.php, which is the installation page. You need to go there before any other page will work, and hit enter, and the installation page should appear. However, for some bizarre reason, Fanupdate 3 doesn't do this. So you need to go back to your file manager. And another reason file manager is great is you only have to click a couple of buttons. I'm going to go up one level to the root directory and create a new folder, which I'm just going to call Fanupdate 2. And for some reason, I don't fully understand what the problem is, but it's fixed by moving all the files from one folder, from the original folder you created, to another folder. So once I have the new folder created, I'm just going to select all and then click on the Move File button, and then just change this address to the new folder that I created. And this will slowly move all the files across. If you're using FTP, just follow the same steps. Create a new folder in your root directory or whichever directory you want it to be. Make sure the name is different, and then copy all the files across. So as you can see, the original Fanupdate folder is empty, and if I go into Fanupdate 2, all the folders are here. So now if I change this URL to include Fanupdate 2 and hit enter, hey presto marvello, whatever you'd like, it works. Do I understand it? No. Does it work? Yes. And from this point on, you just need to fill out all the different fields, install the page, and, well, it's your Fanupdate and you're free to use it. I hope you found this tutorial extremely helpful. If you have any questions or feel that I left something out, please do leave it in the comments below. I really do check all the comments and try to respond if anyone has a question. So definitely leave a question if you have one. And if you have any tutorial requests, something you'd like to see me do in the future, definitely get in touch with me. I only have so many ideas. I subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers I get, the happier I am, and the more videos I'm likely to make. Hint, hint. Anyway, this is Ashni, and I'm out.